Today, we're back looking at the CS market, and even though things may seem really boring, we're getting to a point where everything is getting to be actual, I'll call it realistic prices, because things obviously got super insane for a short period in CS2 where we had Karambit Dopplers Phase 2 costing 5 grand. That's absolutely ridiculous. The good news is, partially, they're half the price now, and that's partially good news because if you bought at 5 grand, you're not in a good spot. But the good news is, they're actually at prices that were essentially the same exact prices before the hype really picked off, or popped off rather. So after the trade hold update, we saw things really bounce back. Everybody thought it was back, but as per usual, and this makes sense, things did not get back to their original prices. Number one, because of so much more quantity of all of these skins in the game. People that had coverts just sitting around in their inventory were spamming trade ups. Because of that, a lot more of these supply came into the game, and a lot more people were willing to sell them right away. People that bought the actual dip, and these got way lower than 1800. That's just the average price for the day, but everything crashed massively.
This video is sponsored by Skins Monkey. If you've been looking to trade out your old boring skins for new ones, Skins Monkey is the place. Get a 35% deposit bonus when depositing with cash and crypto, and up to a free $5 bonus on your first trade. So be sure to click that link. Skins Monkey also has the freebies tab where they run 24/7 giveaways that are completely free to join with crazy skins. And if you're looking to actually get your hands on some good skins, Skins Monkey is the quickest way to do it. So be sure to get that free $5 and 35% deposit bonus now, trading your CSGO skins with that link at the top of the description.
People that bought the dip are okay with selling here, they're okay with selling here, they're okay with selling here because they're still on average plus like $400 from the very dip. So it's no surprise we're still seeing things bleeding out quite a bit. But I do think the bleeding is going to stop very soon. Possibly a couple weeks time. It just depends exactly, where we end up. But whenever I take these charts, I look at where the demand had been for a long time. The demand for these things had been 2100, 2000. So that's like the ideal perfect spot you would want to get in on something like this, where there was demand for years. Or I suppose just a year. Well, I guess it was back here as well. Maybe you could argue that they could get down to like $1,500, but at the end of the day, I think 2,000 is a fair buy. 1,500 I think is a little bit low, especially with the player count we have now in CS2. There's a lot more people, and I feel like there's a lot more people just waiting for things to get cheap before the market picks up again. Because once again, we do still have people in profit from here that just, bought and are slowly selling off as prices do not increase. We've gone through periods like this in the CS market quite a bit, but I'll cover quite a few skins that this has happened to. The M4 Buzzkill, all the gloves in the glove case, everything like that. I covered in a video maybe a week ago that I think I could see these getting like $250, assuming gloves went down as well. They did tap like 290, and now they're already back at 333, but I would not say this is a clean reversal yet. I don't think we're seeing a ton of demand just yet. That's only like 15 of them sold in a day, so it's kind of hard to tell already. But it's very possible we do see things start to bounce back incredibly soon because, once again, a lot of things are like half the price they were when they were at all-time highs. And even the skins that, once again, this wasn't necessarily affected by the update. Obviously, it was affected positively because people trade up to gloves now. But since the gloves have gotten so cheap, these have crashed as well. Now, part of the good thing for that is that we have the glove case, for example, and it finally bounced. 1950 to like $22, and this was after a long time of just tanking in price from $35 to 19, almost a 50% drop again, which is absolutely crazy. But it's not too shocking because, as I say, anytime anything goes parabolic like this in the CS market, it's always followed by it crashing back down to normal levels. I've covered this 100 times. If you guys have watched this channel for a couple years, couple months even, you probably know this. Parabolic move up, doubled in price in like 2 weeks, which is insane, and then it came back down. It doesn't always come back down to the exact level it was at before, which was like $10, maybe $12, but it does come down $14. Because with cases, for example, especially the glove case where there's not that many of supply on the Steam market at any given point, a lot of people just buy these for cheap and hoard them. Massive demand comes up. There's like 5,000-6,000 of these sold a day. A lot of people are unboxing them and just holding them. Less supply on the market, so they come back down to a higher price. Eventually, they crash during the update. Obviously, that's like a shock update. Doesn't happen very often. Then the same thing happens again. Massive increase in price, moved back down, and now they're popping off again. Could that be the very bottom of the move? I don't know, but it very possibly is. Because once again, massive pop off, still at a higher level than it was before the pop off happened. Massive pop off, comes back down in price, gets like 19 bucks, which is still higher than like the 16 it was at before. So, in my opinion, I don't think that's a horrible spot to be buying not only glove case, but the skins in it as well. Because obviously, if the case is going to get more expensive, you would think the items in it are as well. That just makes simple sense, obviously. Especially since the M4 Buzzkill, you could once again see like 10, 15 of these sold in a day, and the thing is jumping like $10, $15 in price, if not more. So that's good for the glove case. And honestly, I might scoop a few of these Buzzkills up very shortly if I could see a good price to get them at, which I'm sure I can somewhere. But we'll take a look. Either way, some other things I want to cover, and why I don't think the market is completely over. I know people like to say that every single time we have a crash in the market. I don't think that's going to happen. We have like 1 million concurrent players. The game is not going anywhere anytime soon. People might be afraid to spend money right now because of the recent crash, but I think that demand is going to slowly pick up. I don't think it's going to be in a week or anything, but when the demand slowly picks up, we typically see things slowly pop off as well, and then have these like blow off top moves where you typically want to sell. We are also still seeing these super old items, 5.7 Fairy Tale, just absolutely manipulated in price, which is another good sign that there's people with money in the market. But you could see old skins like this, there only has to be like 10 of them sold for them to quadruple in price. So if somebody can stack up on them at like 100 and something bucks and then buy 10 of them, then they've 4x'd in price. You can go on insta-sell sites and abuse this. There's a lot of ways to do it, and a lot of people do that to make money in this game. It's pretty smart. Tech9 Ossified is another skin it happened with. Went from $5 to $30 just purely off manipulation. I would never touch any of these skins. Do not buy them. It's literally probably just one Chinese guy manipulating the price of it to abuse insta-sell sites and stuff like that don't take advantage of it. But covering stuff that affects most of us, we'll cover the M4 Poseidon. This pretty much just shows all of high tiers right now, for example. Once again, just a massive pop-off move. They got to like $4,000. I sold mine at like 3,200 or something, and then I felt really stupid when it got to $4,000. But now it's at 2,600, so I'm pretty happy about it. Another thing with these is I don't necessarily think they're going to come back down to really pre-hype levels. I don't think this thing is coming back down to 1,100-1,200 bucks, but there's no demand for it right now. It's just slowly coming down in price. A couple sales can drag the price down by like hundreds of dollars. You can see right there. 3,200 it got sold for. 2 weeks later, it's getting sold for 2,700, and now it's 2,600. So these can move around pretty drastically in price. Maybe they'll come back down to $2,000. 2,600 is definitely not a level I would be buying at just now. But the good news is a lot of older play skins, and just stuff with demand. A lot of Gamma Dopplers, Phase 2, stuff like that, the Phase 2 I covered at the beginning, are getting to normal price levels. And we could see with the Butterfly Fade, for example, this thing is just chopping sideways in price, which is good. And once again, when things do this, they typically pick up eventually. You could see it's kind of moving sideways here over like a year's time, but it was 2,700 at the beginning of 2024, and it's 3,700 at the beginning of 2025. So a year later, this chart might look kind of sideways, but that demand is always slowly picking up. So owning anything like this with a completely sideways chart right now that's been sideways for like 2 months, I would gladly own that and hold it for a super long time. Once again, I don't know if things are going to pop off in the next few weeks, but typically with sideways charts like this, you want to be holding them, you want to be buying them, and sell in like a year's time, because I don't think I could name you a single time where that hasn't worked in the CS market. That's what I've always done, and I'm always a big fan of it. Once again, if you want to take some more risky moves with a higher chance of making more money, I guess, but also, once again, it's riskier, so they could drop like 50%. I don't think a Buzzkill is a bad move here. On the downside, we could eventually see new gloves released, and that would probably tank the price of everything in here, but we've been saying that for years, and it hasn't happened. So, once again, that's a risk you take. Much rather would be buying at these prices than 600 bucks. Do they come back down to 200? I don't think so. Could they come back down to 250? I think that's possible, but either way, it's not a horrible spot to buy if you get in at a good price, and you could see just how quickly things could turn around. You could have like 15 sales, and they'll jump from 290 to, oh, I guess there was more sales. You could have 30 sales, and they could jump like 10% in price at least. So that's where we're at right there. Hopefully that covers everything in the market for you guys. And check out the sponsor, link at the top of the description. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.